much for the intro, Ben. I love what you said about relationships because that is what I'm going to touch on today. It has been a consistent theme throughout my entire career, and I am really excited to kind of share with you all a little bit about my real estate career this far and some key takeaways that you can implement today because an inch forward is still an inch, and that is absolutely my goal. So, to kick it off, a little bit about me. My name is Shaylie. I am based out of San Diego. I run Coastline Real Estate Group with my significant other, who I actually met through Keller Williams. We started our team in 2020, and in 2024, we closed 67 million in volume. We have a team of 9 agents and 1 admin. And then we also have ancillary businesses. And that's kind of what I'm excited to share is that there's no right or wrong way to do real estate. We have found a way that I consider really innovative, that is different from what a lot of people are doing. And what I mean by that is that we have seen gaps in our world and said, how can we fill it? So we not only have our real estate team, we also own a vacation rental management company that's the fastest growing in San Diego. And we also own Coastline Developments, which filled that investment and flip hole. So that's a little bit about me. Let's kick it off with my favorite quote. The relationships you have determine your opportunity. One of the best predictors of personal success is social connection. And I could not agree more. So when I first started in real estate, I was brand new. I built my business on open houses. And then I made the crazy decision to move to San Diego, where my database was 0. And I said, okay, how can I build my database from scratch? I'm good at open houses. Let's get started. And then boom, the pandemic hit. And I had to ask myself, what am I going to do next? I started picking up the phone and dialing agents. Fast forward today, my entire business has been built on agent referrals. That's how I was connected with Ben and Kelly and tons of other amazing people within Keller Williams and across the country. So I just started cold calling. A lot of people ask me, like, what's your system for that? What do you do? I just started cold calling. And I talked to a gentleman who was within this community. It's called KW Young Professionals. And he said, have you heard of it? You really need to join. I hadn't heard of it. I looked up, we didn't have a chapter in San Diego, and I said, how can I start this? So who here has heard of the KPA? A lot of people. Perfect. So to start a community chapter, you have to have leadership skills, right? I took the KPA and I scored extremely low on leadership, like embarrassingly low. But I knew that I had it in me. I knew that I wanted to be a leader. I knew where I wanted to go, be, do, achieve, right, guys? And so I started pouring into education and resources, which looked like masterminds like these, podcasts, audibles and books. And I really just had this big goal of growing that leadership score. So fast forward, I grew it. I started a chapter, and that really opened up the door for all of these incredible relationships. Always keep your head up looking for opportunities. And what I mean by that is not only opportunities for, maybe creating that connection with the luxury agent in your office to hold their open houses, which then turns into setting 10 appointments, which then turns into closing 2 luxury deals? Or is it that one relationship that is going to get you to the next level, whatever you're searching for? I completely forgot to add on here that my most important role is that I'm a mom. I have a toddler and I am 8 months pregnant. So if I am running out of breath. That is that is why.
And you are, and I know you're not going to be at family reunion because your due date I know is close to that, right?
My due date is on the date of family reunion. So I just realized I should probably tell you guys that so you're not thinking, what the heck? But so opportunities. That just is so, so critical and important. Um, which leads me to agent referrals. And I know a lot of people use agent referrals as a lead generation strategy, which is incredible and amazing. And we can save, my entire system for a different day. Right now, I want to tell you, whatever it is, just focus on your one thing. I had to recognize that my one thing is agent referrals. And so after I started creating an agent database, I then had to implement a system to touch that database just like I touch my San Diego database, right? 52 times a year. I have it drawn out on paper. From there, I started doing really well with that lead generation source. And then a couple years later, I got pregnant with my first baby. And boom, my worst year in real estate ever. And so I'm telling you that because I had to fail forward. I had the leverage and tools and resources at my disposal. I didn't use them. I couldn't give up that control. I thought I can do this all myself. They can't do that right. When in that moment, I needed to use them. And that was a big, big fail for me, and something that this time around, I have made sure that I have implemented action items and I am using that leverage to have my best year in real estate ever. So, two completely different outcomes. When thinking about leverage. And leverage doesn't have to be, a hired admin. Leverage can be technology. Leverage can be partnering with an agent in your office or getting a showing partner. It can be anything that you are needing in your business.
Even
Uh,
AI today seems like, that's all the buzzword, right? And I feel like there is an opportunity for many of us to really learn more and how that leverage can help us with our business, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes. So, pregnancy brain. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. No,
Um,
yeah.
okay, so then I had to kind of take a step back because who here has been in like the position where you want to focus on a million lead generation tactics? You want to crush it at social media. You want to do open houses. You want to, host community events. I think we've all been there where we are visionaries, right? We have these incredible ideas, and then, you maybe create a game plan and then you don't implement it because a lot of realtors are not implementers. That's why it's so important to focus on your one thing. So at the beginning of this year, last year, 2024, I sat down and I said, how can I create $1 million business off of my number one lead generation source, which was agent referrals? I then decided to cut out my social media lead generation system. Okay. And that doesn't mean my social media marketing system, completely different things. For lead generation, I decided to only focus on agent referrals this year, and it completely paid off. Once you master that one thing, then start to add more, which is now where I'm at, where we're adding farming and YouTube and a couple other things,
And just
right?
so you know, I just subscribed to your YouTube channel, which I think is woefully short, but your Instagram, so you're about 6,000 on Instagram. So um, those two, you're now loading that on top of your agent to agent referrals, and I'm so intrigued because for 2024, one of every five deals I did were agent to agent, and my goal this year is just to increase that to one out of four or 25%. What was your percentage last year?
So last year I had a lot of database referrals. But it was still really high. So I would say probably 65%.
Mm,
65% agent referrals. The year before, we were at like 82% agent referrals. So
wow.
it's a big chunk of my business.
Okay.
And that's the whole thing, right? Is how can I take it from 10 closings from agent referrals to 50 to 100 to, unstoppable. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
absolutely.
And create a system for it and add value. Just like you're coming from contribution with your client database, come from contribution with your agent database. And that's the part that I think a lot of people miss is that we agents love to talk about themselves. Agents love to talk about what's going on in their business and what they're doing well, what they're struggling with. So, how can you create that relationship and add value and go 10 layers deep? Because for every one agent, there's 100 agents standing behind them. They can be your biggest advocators. Um, So that's kind of agent referrals. Again, I do teach a lot of classes. So if you guys want to hop into my next agent referral class, I don't have one scheduled, but that's absolutely something we can do. In the meantime, I do have a smart plan that is public on Keller Williams command for agent referrals. It's a 36-point touch system that my entire team implements. Cool.
Thank you for sharing that because I created one. And so Christina, my right hand, she'll be looking at maybe how we can integrate something that you're doing that we're not. So guys, I think don't miss the point here because I see newer agents and agents that are like, wait a minute, I'm from Kansas City. Right now, I have almost no database here. And yes, you do, right? Don't miss this opportunity, especially with a company. I mean, we're the largest brand in the freaking world, right? And it doesn't matter if you're with us or a smaller brand, there's still an opportunity for you to make connections with agents from around the world that can really, support you in your business. Because I see one of my partners from, from the Northeast, Brooklyn, Bronx, Long Island. I see him here, and I've got, contacts from down south and all over the country on here. So I appreciate that lead source. So what else you got for us?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
let me ask you this,
I
because I
will.
know your team is growing. Now, am I mistaken? Did you just bring another large team into your team, or was that maybe that was something else that I was mistaken about?
Yes, that is correct. And
Uh,
so we quickly recognized so last year we for when it comes to team building, we want people in our world who dream big, just like us. And so we had to ask ourselves, how can we create a world big enough where we are facilitating people's growth that we want in our world? And so culture is a huge thing to us, like massive. We are very selective with who we bring on our team and making sure that they are a culture fit and uphold the same values as us. That's very clear. We have a whole packet on it. Um, so we were able to bring on another team in our office that is doing a lot of volume. And the key there is having value. Same exact thing as agent referrals. What value do we have? And so we sent out an anonymous survey, um, which was a suggestion from my coach. I started getting leadership coaching because I wanted to grow our team and succeed there. So I sent out an anonymous survey to my team, and it was a ton of questions. And so then me and my partner just started dissecting it. And we said, where are we winning? Where are we losing? What do we need to grow and focus on? And how can we create a value proposition for what we are good at? Because what we are not good at is just being a team that cranks out leads and pays for leads and provides leads. That's not our strategy. It works for tons of people. But for us, our value is education and training. My partner is a bold coach. So you can see why that's big for us. And I've held several roles within the Keller Williams community. I'm on the KW Young Professionals National Board of Advisors. I was the productivity coach in my office for a little bit. So education is big and being learning based. And so how can we create that value, maximize it, and attract people in our world? And sure enough, that is paying off. So we were able to acquire another team, and then we have big goals for 2025. But what I really want to emphasize and stress is the branding aspect. Okay, branding when it comes to team building and messaging, but also branding when it comes to what you are communicating to your potential clients. And we touched on social media, we touched on YouTube, we touched on all of that, right? Branding is so, so important. And I'm not talking about the fonts and the colors that you use in your email signature. I am talking about your messaging. Who here can tell me exactly who their ideal client is? For those of you who aren't raising your hands or can't articulate it extremely clear, please after this do that. Fill out a missing person report for who your ideal client is. Where do they hang out? What is their career? What is their ideal neighborhood, their ideal home? Just get so, so specific with it and have it align with your mission and vision, because that is exactly how I have built my brand, Coastline Real Estate Group. And my intention with that is to communicate to people that they have the opportunity to live the San Diego lifestyle, right? It's all about that lifestyle, that why I moved here, why I absolutely love it here. How can I articulate that? And sure enough, that goes hand in hand with agent referrals. So when an agent thinks of me, they think of San Diego, or the opposite. When they think of San Diego, they think of Coastline Real Estate Group. Okay. And that is just so important for what you are posting. If you have a print marketing strategy, etc. Now that branding has we are working on shifting it to attracting the right agents and the right talent in our world that will grow with us and take us to that next level. Does that make sense?
Big time. And let me ask you this, because I think, um, again, one of my friends here is Black Label Realty down in San Antonio. Was it important to you to have Coastline as opposed to you or your husband's name on that?
Yes, absolutely. Great question. And so all of the mega teams in our office, they're all someone's name and team. I don't knock that. Like, do whatever works for you. For us, it was important to create that sense that anyone can get behind,
Yes.
right? So it's not Shaylie Real Estate, it's Coastline Real Estate, which a lot of our team is so passionate about, right? Like we feed so much into Coastline Real Estate Group in our community, in the agent world, in our office. Everything we do is focused around this brand, and that's something I am extremely proud of.
Yeah, that's part of my plan for 25 is to start moving away from this into the Power Squad, which is my team name. So you'll be seeing more and more of that. So I appreciate you sharing that, because I think that's something that sometimes we struggle with. Should it be Christina Zimski Realty, right? Or Realty Group, or should it be a name that, is synonymous with excellence and not maybe just you, right? So thanks
Yeah.
for that.
And same exact thing. There's no right way. It's just what communicates your values the most. What communicates your MVVBP? Who here has a drawn out MVVBP? Everyone should, because if you aren't clear on your mission and vision, then where are you going? And does that mission and vision support where you want to be in 5 years? Does that brand support where you want to be in 5 years? Because we're not talking about just today and oh, I don't have a team, like I'm not going to go grow this. No, I want you guys to think big and implement action items that can grow with you because that's what's worked for me.
Well, it's working very well. So I mean, I appreciate you blessing us with your time today because it's been invaluable. We've already learned a lot. If what for your team, Shaylie, what is uh for me, I call it your velvet rope. Because again, you guys aren't out here paying for leads, right? What are you doing at a very high level to grow your buyer-based business or your seller-based business? Is it like most of us? Is it those relationships with your A and B clients, your past clients? You've got an investor community. Where is that business coming from, and how are you creating it and sustaining it?
Yeah, great question. So it all is about systems. No matter what we're doing, we have to create a system. Otherwise, we will not implement. And so, just like our agent referral system, if an agent on my team um, first off, we have a system that they have to fill out their GPS and their 411. They have to get really clear on their action items and what they're doing, right? And so that's step one. Step two is how do we build a big business around that GPS? And does it align with their big why and their goals? And so, number one is agent referrals. We do a lot in that space and we add a lot of value to our team for things that they can be included on. We do events at family reunion, not this one, not this one, because maybe, but we do agent events and referral partner appreciation events, you name it. The next step is the investment side that I heard you bring up. That all came about because an agent on my team was really passionate about developments and investments. And we said, again, how can we create our world big enough where he can grow? And that's what we had to do. So he gets most of his business from investments. We have another girl on our team who is all about YouTube. She has the niche market of bilingual home buyers and home sellers. And then our ancillary businesses are meant to feed into our lead generation. So our vacation rental company has been a big feeder and it aligns very heavily with our brand, Coastline Real Estate Group. So that's a little bit about how we have cultivated business. We also have a farm, so we do print marketing, we do community events, and then just really dialing in our system and making sure that we aren't just putting people in our database and never talking to them again. We're constantly leading with value, from home anniversary CMAs to random check-ins. Does that answer the question?
That's just beautiful. It's all layered and supported one over another. So I'm out of breath just listening to you. So, now let me ask you this on a personal note, because again, I mean, all eyes are on California. How are you guys being impacted currently?
Yes, it is really devastating. So we are in San Diego. We have been on a red flag watch for the last few weeks. Um, so we have been fortunate. We haven't had any disastrous fires. We do currently have fires here. We are still on a red watch, so we have our go bags ready. But LA, I just have never seen anything like it. So we're trying to figure out how we can support them right now. I know with our vacation rentals, we have them fully booked with evacuees, which is insane. But yeah, if you guys can, I know Keller Williams, KW Cares is doing a big fundraising effort and support, which is incredible and amazing, but it's super devastating. Yeah.
Well, I think, again, the caring aspect is I'm always so proud of our family because we tend to outshine the entire real estate community across all companies, Keller Williams alone, when you look at, where there is a need, I sometimes I look at what NAR does, and then I look at what we do individually as a family, and we way outshine all of the Century 21s and the Remaxes and the Coldwell Bankers all combined. They don't even do what we do. And I think again, it is just simply because we're family and we want to support, because at some point a Carolina might happen, a California might happen. We might have tornadoes here in Texas and Kansas, and then all of a sudden here we are, right? We're supporting each other. So I love that you're part of my San Diego family. I can't thank you enough, because you know what, the time just flies by, and you know what, we've got someone who needs our time and attention, and we need to go serve them at a high level. So, is there any last parting words you got for us, or are we set and ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, I would say if you guys want to connect with me, I am an open book. So I am more than happy to answer questions. You can reach out to me. The easiest is through Instagram. My handle is at Shaylie Sells San Diego. And then we do host monthly masterminds. So our next one is on my absolute favorite topic, which is branding. So if you guys do want the invite to that, just let me know. I will send you the link. And I hope that you guys had at least one takeaway, again, that you can start implementing today. Thank you so much for putting up with me and me panting. And
Easy,
please
easy.
enjoy the rest of your week. Make it an incredible year.